throw Port Adelaide out yet.
All right, let's talk about Melbourne, because this is the team that everyone's raving about, and quite rightly so.
Yeah, and they should be. Their game is just in such good order, TJ. Their players play with just this unbelievable confidence, and it started right from the start. GWS had 14 entries early on in this first quarter, but they just could not score because of how stocked they are behind the ball, and they got some players back into form, including this from Cozzy Pickett, one of the goals of the year, Brownie.
Yeah, I don't think there's a side that runs harder when they've got the footy than Melbourne, but when I watch Melbourne defensively, their system's so good that they don't have to work that hard. So they're just wandering around. Their zone defence is so good, but when they're able to run, then they run, because they're not working defensively that hard because their system's so good.
Powerful performance, Lotto.
Brownie, what you just touched on, I want to talk about. So they're conceding 59 points a game, yet they're kicking 93. So they've got the best system in the game. I want to show you something from last week. They're playing Port Adelaide. So they are out Port Adelaide. They win the ball. They get the ball out to Sam Mays, I think it is. Oh, sorry, Connor Rosie. Look what's behind the ball here. Stephen May. So again, they have to go sideways. So Port Adelaide had no answer for what Melbourne threw at them. That's why they couldn't score. You go forward to this beautiful kick from Callan Ward. He hits the player in the centre of the ground. He looks forward, Perryman. Look who's behind the ball. It's not Stephen May. It's another Melbourne player behind the ball. So the competition does not know what to do. Then when Melbourne win the ball going forward, I'm thinking, why can't every other side try and execute something like that? But look at where the defenders are for GWS. That's Keefe and that's Taylor. They've all been sucked up the field. Melbourne always get numbers to the fall of the ball. This is where Melbourne would be in their defence, but look at the Giants' defence. It's just open for like a Pagan's paddock like North used to have for Wayne Carey. Ball goes over the top. He's exhausted. Taylor's not even in the picture. Sparrow just knocks the ball out. Bailey Fritsch kicks the goal. So what I'm suggesting is, why don't teams hold forwards? Why don't they hold forwards and have the courage to hold someone so May has to play on someone? When you're darting through the centre of the ground, you've got an option to kick to. I don't think you can be sucked up the ground like that because they're just playing into May, Lever and Petty's hands week after week.
How would that work? I mean, Lordo's been banging on about this now for weeks. No one's adjusting their game plan. Is it feasible to be anchored at home?
Well, you've got to have trust in your defence as well. So Melbourne know that it's going to be pressure ball coming inside 50, so they can hold. It's nothing going to be clean because of the ferociousness around the contest. Their game's just in such good order, and there was some talk during the week, TJ, that they're going at sort of 70% and haven't...
Well, have we seen them go? I mean, third quarter was pretty good.
But that's been the way that they play. So they hang in there, and then they've got this amazing ability to flick a switch and go bang. And they put on, I think it was 10 unanswered goals from 10 different goal kickers last night in a period that just blew it open. Same as Port Adelaide and same as they've done in finals. It's great vision. I'm waiting for someone to do something different.
The only team that's done it, and they couldn't do it for the whole game, was Essendon. So they had Peter Wright pretty much deep forward, and he troubled Stephen May that night. But the Bombers couldn't get enough football in there for long periods of time for it to be effective. And eventually, the might of Melbourne got on top of them. But Peter Wright was able to get Stephen May one-on-one a few times.
Welcome back to this Easter Sunday edition of the Sunday Footy Show. Kane, tell us about the Demons. Are they unstoppable?
Well, at the moment they are, but it's a long season, so there's a fair bit to play out here, and it's not like soccer where whoever finishes on top of the ladder wins it. There's a big final series to get through. They're in a great position. Their best players are in their prime, and they're playing with a confidence that no one else is, and just all facets of the game, from the stoppage to the contest to their transition and their ability to defend, is better than anyone in the competition at the moment. That's not to say it won't be come September, but at the moment you'd be hard-pressed to go past them. Damon, one of their young forwards, got himself back into some form because Cozzy Pickett had been quiet to start the year, but he was electric.
Yeah, his highlight reel is as good as anyone's in the very short time he's been in the game. But this is the sort of stuff that Simon Goodwin and his teammates actually like him doing more than the highlight reel. It's the follow-up work, and then the ability to then cash in and capitalise, and then back yourself then to have that shot. With 3 goals he kicked last night, we know what he can do aerially, we know what he can do on the ground, and it's just all coming together for him quite beautifully this season.
I guess Lordo and Brownie, I may have had a question about their forward line 12 months ago, like this time, but then you've got Fritsch, who's just a star, you've got Pickett, you've got McDonald playing really good footy, Wiedemann with Brown and the depth, and then Gawn is playing more time forward than he has in the past. So I've got no questions about their forward line anymore.
In Richmond's dynasty, they seem to unearth players like Lambert and Castagna, who played their role, played really good. And you talk about a guy called Jack Bowie, who's just flying at the moment. Hasn't had a loss. Again, 27 disposals last night. He doesn't make mistakes. He's so sure with his hands and his feet. He's tough. He's in and under. Then he can do it on the outside. But Richmond had a lot of these players who probably haven't gone on to the heights that maybe expected. But this guy certainly started in that same vein, and he is a wonderful young player.
Sam Wiedemann only had 8 disposals last night. one goal, but I liked his game last night. I thought the way he crashed packs is the strongest I've seen him play football. And it's a lot of this down the line where you just need players to be down the line for you to compete. Even this just takes that mark, and he dropped a few, but I thought he was very, very strong for his players. So I'd keep him in a bit longer, Daniel.
So what happens, Brownie, Lloydie, when Brown comes back out of that suspension from the VFL?
Yeah. Well, it's all on Wiedemann now. I think he's in a golden opportunity, and Brown will have to earn it. I loved Brown's first game. That was the best I'd seen him move.
He would have been in the votes, round one.
What a great problem to have for Simon Goodwin.
But they both don't play. You rule that out. And McDonald's a lock.
McDonald hasn't been amazing, but it was solid last night. So, yeah, I think that...
the three of them don't play, though. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the three of them
I think McDonald has to play, though.
Yeah.
Yep. Just on the last point, I just want to look at their game plan. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, but I've never seen a side that kicked more goals from 20 metres out. So whether it was kicked long, I don't think it's a complicated game plan. So that just, it's kicked to the top of the goal square. Bring it to ground. Spargo knows where to go. The other one, Neil Bullen, knows where to go. So I love about it, it's not complicated. So again, kicks it long, could go anywhere. Maxi Gorn brings it to the ground, a key position, kicks the goal. So it's just pressure upon pressure. System, they know it inside out, outstanding.
Such an even performance. I mean, you could have split the votes amongst 15 players, but Petrarca, for his score involvements, he had 12. Gorn was everywhere. May was just a rock behind the ball.
For the Brownlow, which way do the umpires go, Petrarca or Gorn?
Petrarca, yeah.